do I need to go to the ER? Do I need to go and get looked at like right now, because this is insane? Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, Kari Vlogs. I'm Kari, and today's video we are going to talk about a suspected food allergy that I actually had happen to me in May. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so I'm sure you can tell I got a new computer, and I do have my story actually pulled up here because I didn't want to forget any of it. And I'm actually re-recording this video. Today is 4th of July. Happy 4th of July. It'll be after 4th of July by the time you see this. I wanted to re-record it because the sound was a little bit bad and I didn't really care for how the video came out. So I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and just re-record it really quick while I'm editing, and I'll go from there. So back on May 26th, my husband and I were outside all day. We had a yard sale. We were cleaning the garage. And I know I said in a previous video, like, we live in my childhood home, and unfortunately some people were hoarders that used to live here. And our garage was literally like full to the top of just like junk. So a few months ago, maybe like mid-April, my husband and his stepdad cleaned out the whole garage. Like, they rented a dumpster, they threw everything away that was in there. So on May 26th, when my husband and I were out there having the yard sale, we're like, let's go ahead and, you know, sweep up the floor. We'll go ahead and pressure wash it. We'll do all that and like make it nice. And then we put up like a projector screen and have a projector in there and like some chairs for the kids. And like, my husband and I love hanging out in there and watching TV at night after everybody goes to sleep, just so we can like, you know, get away on our own like little date area or whatever. And it's fun. It's nice. Our garage sale, it was a really hot day that day. Our garage sale ended when sun went down, so probably around 7. And I was packing everything up, putting it away in the garage, and then my husband went to the store between like 8 and 9. When he came home, we went inside to eat, and like, because we didn't really have anything to eat during the day. We usually don't really eat during the day, and we eat at night. We're late eaters, which I know they're like, oh, don't eat after 8, it's not good for you, but we're like the complete opposite. So we didn't do anything for ourselves for like lunch or dinner or anything like that. He ran to the store, he picked up some vegetarian sushi for me, and then he got himself a jar of tuna, and then he like got a bag of cashews for us to share. And so after I was done, well, midway through packing up the garage sale, we brought everything to the back by the garage to put away, and then we came in and ate around like 10:30. And he was eating his jar of tuna, and I was like, oh, let me get some of that. I'm gonna put it on my sushi, because I don't like raw fish or anything like that. I don't like most fish. I do love tuna though, and especially if it's cooked tuna. Like, he had a jar of cooked tuna fillets, and so I took some and I put it on my sushi, and I was eating that. I ate some of the cashews. I put the kids to bed, and then we went back outside and finished like setting up our projector. After putting everything away, I finally went up to bed at about 2:30 in the morning and fell asleep almost right away. And then about 3:15, my husband came upstairs with an Amy's frozen pizza that he had cooked, and he woke me up. He's like, hey, do you want some pizza? I'm like, yeah, definitely, you know. I never turned down pizza. I got up to eat some of the pizza. I just sat up in bed, and then I noticed my back was a little bit itchy, and I was like, oh, that's weird, you know, it's probably just from like sweating in my sleep, or my bed sheets or something like that need to be washed, who knows. And so I went to scratch my back, and I noticed there was like these huge welts on my back. I'm like, what the heck, what's going on? You know, but I didn't really think anything of it. And then I ate a couple pieces of pizza, which later I realized was a bad idea. You'll find out why in a little bit. After eating my pizza, after like 5 minutes, I realized what was happening. I'm like, oh, these are hives. I am not somebody who gets hives. I have gotten hives maybe 2 or 3 times in my whole entire life. And it was from different detergents that my body just did not like, my skin didn't like. And we didn't change any detergents. We didn't change shampoos, soap, nothing like that. So I kind of thought it was a little bit weird. But again, I was like, oh, I was outside sweating all day. You know, it could have been from that. It could be from, like I said, my bed sheets needing to be washed. It could be from anything. My hives, they like covered my whole back, and they were like up my neck a little bit, but not like super like a crazy amount. They weren't like on my face or anything like that. They were just like on the sides and back of my neck, and then down my whole back. and they were really itchy. So I'm like, okay, let me go downstairs and get the rubbing alcohol and have my husband rub it on my back. I get up, and as soon as I get out of bed, I start like violently shaking. And it wasn't just like, oh, I'm cold, so I'm shivering. It was like full on like shakes. And I'm somebody who has high anxiety. If you're like this, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. If I get just like an inkling of the fact that I'm sick or like I don't feel good, then I start getting like super anxious and start shaking. But this was like beyond that, because usually when I get my anxiety shakes, I can calm myself down within like 20 to 30 minutes. And this did not happen. Like, that was not my experience this time at all, which was really weird. And so I remember standing there for a little bit at the end of the bed shaking, and I was just telling my husband, like, I was trying to get my words out, and I was shaking so bad that it was so hard for me to even get my words out. I'm like, I can't stop shaking. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. It has to do with these hives. So I like slowly went downstairs because I had to go to the bathroom anyway. Otherwise my husband would have went and got the alcohol from downstairs. It took me quite some time, you know, to get downstairs, and then I stayed down there for a little bit because I was shaking and I was like trying to calm myself down. And then I grabbed the rubbing alcohol and some like a paper towel or something and went back upstairs. And by the time I came back upstairs, my husband was already asleep. So I woke him up. I'm like, hey, I need you to rub this on my back. So I woke my husband up, had him rub the alcohol on my back in case it was an environmental factor, like being outside in the garage cleaning or like sweat or whatever. And it made my back stop itching, but it did not make the hives go away. And I had him do like 2 or 3 layers just to be on the safe side. And it, like I said, it did make the itching go away, which was a little bit of relief, but it didn't help at all. And I was still shaking. I still had the hive. So then after that, I tried laying down to go back to sleep on our bed. And then that's when the nausea hit. Like, I am not somebody who throws up. I don't throw up. When I'm sick, I don't throw up from drinking alcohol. I never throw up. And I was like, oh no, like I am going to throw up. I just had that feeling like in my throat and in my stomach where it's just like, you either have to throw up or you have to fight it. So me being me, I hate throwing up. So I fought the feeling. And I got up and went over to our bedroom window because it was a nice night. It was like between 50 and 60 degrees. And it was probably about like 3:30 in the morning at this point. And I sat by the window because our window was open. And I'm like, I want to get some fresh air. Maybe that'll help me. And it wasn't helping because it wasn't really breezy. So I went downstairs and went outside for a little bit to try and get like more fresh air. And then I remember like standing there and I started like wheezing. My wheezing while I was outside did get quite a bit worse, and I could feel like a rattling in my chest, but it was like a deep wheezing, and it was literally making me like grasp for air. And I just remember thinking right then and there, like, do I need to go to the ER? Do I need to go and get looked at like right now? Because this is insane. Thankfully, I didn't have to. My wheezing did stop after a little while, and I was able to calm myself down enough to stop the shaking after all of that happened. And then my stomach just like started gurgling so loud and like so violently it hurt. I had to like squat down and like hunch over because I was in so much pain. And mind you, I'm outside, so it's not like I can really do anything other than like go on the ground and hunch over. I decided to go in the house, and I went to the bathroom like 3 more times after that point. And then my stomach finally felt better, but I still felt like really off. And I was back outside for a little bit until like I heard sirens at like 4 in the morning, and I'm like, okay, I better go in case, you know, something crazy is happening. After a while of being outside, like my stomach cramps were finally gone, and my shaking, I was able to finally get under control and stop. For the most part shaking. I was a little bit shivery here and there, but I still felt like super unwell, and my hives were hot. My arms, my face, my stomach, it was all just like flushed, and it was 60 degrees out. So there's no way like I was hot from being outside, but like everything on my body just felt hot when I would touch it, and my chest, my stomach, everything. It was crazy. And I'm like, what is happening? So then I came back inside after feeling better and sat down on the little ottoman bench on the end of our bed and put a pillow behind me and tried like laying back. And I remember I was gonna try and play Dreamlight Valley. I just like felt so unwell at this point that I'm like, I cannot focus on anything. So after sitting there for like 2 minutes trying to play, I'm like, I'm just gonna turn on my comfort show and sit here and try and get some rest. So I put on Golden Girls because that's one of my absolute favorite comfort shows to watch. And then after I put that on, I remember I was like, let me go ahead and Google these symptoms and use AI. So I used Grok, I used ChatGPT, and then I also searched through like Reddit threads and stuff. And I looked up the symptoms, and everything led to a food allergy. And I was like, that's really weird. Like, I don't have food allergies. I'm like, that can't happen. That's not me, you know? So then, like, literally everything I looked up, like, I'm like, why am I wheezing and feel sick and shaking and have hives? And it's like, oh, food allergy, food allergy. I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, that can't be right. And then I think that's when it hit me that, like, in the back of my mind, I was always thinking, like, oh, it probably is a food allergy, like, hello. And I grew up thinking that I was allergic to fish my whole life because my mom, I remember she would always be like, oh, fish gives me a headache, I think I'm allergic to it. So obviously, like that's the mantra that I adopted growing up, because she's probably like, you're probably allergic to it too. So then I put in all the ingredients in the vegetarian sushi and also put in the tuna into AI, and I was like, what is the most likely cause of my reaction? And every time I would like put it in or like even Google it, it would be like, oh, it was the tuna. It's most likely the tuna. You're probably allergic to tuna. And I was like, how am I allergic to something that I have been eating like every other week for 5 years now? While I was looking the stuff up in AI, I completely forgot to include cashews, by the way, because I forgot that I ate them in like the everything that was happening. I was like, oh, you know, it's probably the sushi. So I was just focused on like putting all the ingredients from the sushi into it plus the tuna. And like I said, I always grew up thinking that I was allergic to fish, so I avoided it, like my life depended on it, until like 5 years ago my husband was like, are you sure you're actually allergic to it? Like, have you ever been tested for it? Have you ever had negative reactions? And I'm like, well, no. So then I tried some of his tuna, and it was really good. Like, he used to buy these like fat tuna steaks and like cook them with some salt and pepper. So delicious. Put a little squeeze of lemon on it. So good. I don't like any other type of fish. I've tried like salmon and cod and stuff like that, and I don't like it. Tuna though, I really do love. And we always get like the Wild Planet pasta tuna salads, and those are really good too. So literally I'm always eating tuna. And I never had a reaction to it before, so I'm like, I can't, you know, I'm not allergic to tuna, there's no way. And then, like I said, everything that I would look up led me to believe that it was the tuna that was causing this reaction. So the next day, after I finally was able to go to sleep and finally get some rest after the craziest night, like in a very long time, the next day I woke up and instantly like felt my back, and my hives were gone. But then after about 20 minutes, they came back and they were itchy again, but it wasn't nearly as bad. So my hives ended up stopping the itch and like going away fully after like an hour. And when I think back about it, should I have gone to the ER or urgent care? I probably should have, especially because I was having that breathing trouble. And I think if it did last longer, the next day I definitely would have went in. But everything that I also looked up was like, oh, if you have a mild allergy to this, the only thing really you can do other than get an EpiPen in case it is a severe allergic reaction is just an elimination diet. So I didn't go to the ER or anything like that. I just avoided eating anything with fish in it until I got my test results back. So I the next day started looking up different like things that I can do to like get an allergy test. And then I remembered that one of my favorite YouTubers, Cassie, from CNC Life, and she also has a channel called So Cassie, she actually posted a video not long before that this happened, about her having an allergic reaction to a food that she always ate too. And I went over onto her video and asked her what she used to do her allergy test, because she did one as well, and she said she used LabCorp. And I actually had looked into LabCorp already, and they don't have any locations that they partner with that's around my area, so I couldn't do that, unfortunately. So then I found, after Googling like a bunch of different companies, I found this home test that you can do called York Test. And this is not a sponsored video in any way, shape, or form. I just want to share my experience with you, and take you along on the journey with me. So I found York Test. I did find quite a few different like reviews and Reddit threads and stuff like that about them. One of them goes based off of IgG antibodies, and the other one is IgE antibodies. And there's actually a pretty big difference between the two. After looking up all the reviews and learning about IgG and IgE antibodies, and even seeing some Reddit threads where people were like asking doctors, and doctors were recommending this specific brand, I looked more into them. They have an 80 to 90% positive or like success rate. So I'm like, okay, all of this is great. I might as well give it a go just to see like if anything comes up, because then that's my sign to like go see an allergist or, you know, something like that, if there's anything that comes back as like moderate to severe. And I mean, if you really think about it and Google it and like look into it, even doctors get it wrong. Like, there are some allergies out there that some tests can detect, and then the next test you take won't detect it. It's never going to be 100% foolproof. Okay, so I went on York Test's website and I found that they had a 2-pack. So I'm like, oh, this is great. And then they actually had a 30% off sale when I did it as well. And this just tells you it measures both IgG and IgE. And then it tells you kind of like the difference between the two. And you can actually look through their website and learn more about the tests and like the different antibodies and stuff like that as well. So the food sensitivity test tested for 200 ingredients, and then the food allergy test tested for 23 major food allergens and 18 environmental allergens. The environmental allergens to me was like a crazy good bonus, because I feel like a lot of people are allergic to like mold or grass and they just don't know. So I'm like, oh, that's great to know, you know. They even have like cat dander as one of the options as well. And they are HSA and FSA accepted, so if you have either of those, you can use that to purchase this, which I thought was really cool. So then it tells you just about the tests, and then it tells you about the steps you take, which I found the steps to be really easy. And then this is everything that's in the food sensitivity test. This tells you everything they test for. So I thought this was cool. They do almonds, cow's milk, gluten, pork, yeast, beef, egg white, oat, tea, coffee, egg yolk, peanut, and wheat. And then there's drinks, there's fish and shellfish, fruits. They test for so many things. I thought this was so cool that they have like so many different things, because when I was looking it up with LabCorp, they have like ones where you can pinpoint like what you want to test for, like just seafood, just fruits. So I thought it was really cool that they actually, this is like everything included in here. That is what the York Test website looks like, and all the different things they test for. Check it out for yourself. I will put them in the description below in case you want to grab them for yourself, or even just look at their website and see what it's all about. I do have a part 2 to this video that I'm going to be posting after this. I will also link it in the iCard. I don't know if it's here or here. I always forget which side it's on. It's one of these two. But I'm going to link it up there and you can check it out yourself. I'll also put the link to that in the description below. It'll be posted at the same time as this video. I'm going to walk you through the process of doing the test and then also getting my results in that video. That's all I have for this video about my crazy story about my allergic reaction. I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know in the comments below if you've ever had anything like this happen to you before, especially at the age of over 30. Like, I think that's so crazy that you can develop food allergies at any age. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.